an injunction she had issued against Trump's original ban. Her ruling followed one by a federal judge in Seattle who in April also refused to allow the new policy to go into effect. The federal government had appealed that ruling to the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The administration argued that the new policy, which also bars anyone who requires or has undergone gender transition, was no longer a categorical ban. Kollar-Koettle disagreed and in Monday's ruling said the new policy effectively implements the original ban by targeting proxies of transgender status such as gender dysphoria and gender transition, and by requiring all service members to serve in their biological sex. The American Psychiatric Association defines gender dysphoria as a clinical significant distress due to a conflict between a person's gender identity and their sex assigned at birth. Not all transgender individuals suffer from gender dysphoria. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Many thought that a politician with a publicly inebriated lifestyle would be unelectable. But Dave Tillis has proved them wrong, winning over voters by loudly rambling on about issues they care about.
Everybody's got to know that drugs are Americans, and we love America! And we want to make it awesome! Oh my God, let's do this! Let's be a senator! I love you guys!
Tillis' total fearlessness and lack of inhibition seemed to speak to voters. This week, those supporters had something to celebrate as Senator Tillis proposed his first piece of legislation, the All Bus Stops Should Have Shelters bill.
But does that mean you deserve to wake up in the snow? Hell no. Let's make a shelter on all bus stops. Ow! This idea is genius!
This is the Onion News Network. The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from VertCoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our BitPlus Network satellite.
This is
the Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
That's right. Welcome here to the Tuesday afternoon edition of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Your drive home for crypto news and, well, discussion that is a little bit of a cut above. We
hope so.
We hope so, at least. We think so. We like to think, at least. Now, we've got... Now, who is this?
Phil Hellenes.
Phil Hellenes. So tonight we have we have a little bit of discussion from one of my favorites, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, and something that Aria is a fan of, Mr. Phil Hellenes. Now, the basis of the beginning of tonight's discussion is secularism and the insignificance of the individual. Now, Sheikh Hamza's argument, as you'll hear, is basically that as the world has become more secular, it is becoming more and more that the individual is viewed as a completely insignificant, completely random event.
And to clarify why I brought the Phil Hellenes video, it's not because he disagrees. In fact, what Yusuf said is amazing.
Yeah.
But Phil Hellenes is an atheist, and he says almost exactly the same thing, but from an atheist perspective. So, I mean, it's really amazing. When I hear these lecturers from this guy, I'm really impressed with the rationality behind Islamic teachings. It's cool.
Well, at least for
that sect, I
this
suppose.
brother here. Well, because he learned in Mauritania, and like he went and lived with the Bedouins in the desert. He didn't go to like some big university overseas and that kind of. He went and he lived in the desert with Bedouin Arabs in Mauritania, in North Africa, in the Sahara.
Okay, I know that word.
What, Mauritania?
No, North Africa.
Oh, okay. In North Africa. And basically, he wandered around the desert with nomads, learning Arabic and learning the religion from these old teachers who didn't have the influence of all of this baggage of the last 200 years of Western influence on Islamic teachings and Islamic concepts of government. So anyway, we'll get started right now with, this is from Sandala and Hamza Yusuf at Zaytuna College at Berkeley.
If you look at the ufuq is the meeting place between the heavens and the earth. That's the horizon is where the heaven and the earth meet, and you can only see this really in the ocean. Because when you're in the ocean, you see the meeting place. It's the heavens and the earth meet on the horizon. And Allah says, we will show them in themselves, this is the meeting place of the microcosm. It's where these two worlds meet, the heavens and the earth. The mulk and the malakut, they meet in the self, in the human being. And then on the horizon, this is symbolic of the heaven and the earth meeting on the horizon. These are the 2 points. And so the human being is put in this extraordinary position. Because see, now they want to make us insignificant. They want to tell you that you're nothing. They show you all these vast pictures. You know, if you go to astronomical observatory, if you go to one of these places, they'll show you these films and they'll reduce you to nothingness. They say, oh, look here, you're from an insignificant planet in an insignificant solar system, in an insignificant galaxy, in the midst of billions of galaxies. This is who you are. You're nothing. And that's true. They're not lying. But if you go inside the human being, all of those vast spaces out there are also in you, inside you. Imam Ali said in his diwan, تحسب نفسك أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. You think that yourself is some insignificant thing, and yet in you are all of the cosmos. All of the cosmos are in you. تحسب أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. You think that you're an insignificant thing, and yet in you all of the worlds reside. And so when we came into these bodies, we enter into, this body is very powerful because it's sensory, it's hiss. And Allah gave us these 5 senses. And these are the inroads of experience, you see. And this is, you have a certain group of materialists that began to argue, and you find them all the way through history, but they argued that all of knowledge comes from your sensory perception. This is where it comes. Your tabula rasa, your blank slate, and then you come into the world, and then you begin to be filled up with experience. And the experience comes only from this world. There's no other experiences. You see, this is what the materialists claim. And they want to tell you that you're insignificant, you're nothing. Right? You're just a random event in a random universe. This is now the modern cosmology. If you go to the leading universities in this world, you will hear this from the biggest professors, that this is merely a chance. You're merely a random event. And because there were billions of years and multiple possibilities, that this is the conclusion. Here you are, playing solitaire on a computer. This is the human being, right? Diversion, entertainment. This is what the world now is created for diversion. It's always been a diversion. But the difference between modern people and ancient people is all of the ancients knew that the diversion was a diversion. There was no purpose in it. All of them knew this. The moderns are unique in their belief that this is the primary reason for us to be here.
All right, so that was Sheikh Hamza Yusuf's position. We're going to actually play your part when we get back here from break. But I saw you scribbling away over there a little bit, so we've got about a minute and a half, Arya.
I would rather play that video before
play the other
getting
video
this
first,
because what I say builds off of that, but he says it so much more eloquently than I can.
Yeah,
but
we're just getting compliments on the lecturer's amazing ability to pronounce Arabic letters in the chat room. So
I love his honesty. So many Christians or so many religious people of various faiths that I have met, when describing what science teaches people about their insignificance, if we would like to call it that for the time being, they would completely misrepresent it. They would say, "Oh no, they're wrong. They're operating on faith. They're telling you there isn't a God and all of this other stuff." And he's far more direct and far more honest about it. He's like, but they're not lying. They're telling you the truth. That is the way things are. And yet, because that's a big statement, and yet you are not insignificant. So, I mean, it's about perspective. Sure, it's possible to stand out underneath if we didn't have so much light pollution all over the United States because we decided that we're terrified of space. But if you could sit out there on a clear sky where there's no light pollution, actually look up and see the Milky Way, see all of the starlight, yeah, it's impossible not to feel insignificant. But in that same insignificance resides a unity with all that.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm. Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click click on something, facebook.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
They have satellite image pictures of cities on the moon.
No, they
and
don't.
Of course yes, they do.
That's a load of garbage. I've never heard of any such thing. A quick Google search would reveal whatever these lame-o pictures are supposed to be, which, of course, you yourself have never done, right? You've never seen these alleged photos, correct?
No, but it's actually the...
Why would you go around saying that there are pictures of cities on the moon if you yourself have never seen them?
Well, because I heard it on a late night, 2 o'clock in the morning when I used to have that show here.
Yeah, you're talking about the overnight kook show?
Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast?
Yeah, they banned that show 5 years ago.
No, they didn't.
I used to say...
Who's they?
Free Talk Live. 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call of Freedom here on LRN.FM. Turned down the wrong channel. Welcome back here. It's another rainy day here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire.
Well, I'm told that it's rainy. I have seen wet people and wet pavement, but I have not seen any rain.
It hasn't rained at my house, but it did rain like 7. Oh, it was insane before. So, anyway, you know what? I've got an idea. We're going to get some of our stuff done. I got to get this guy to finish the audio for the Bean Cash guy, you know, the little super bean. Because there's going to be one, we're going to have just an audio clip of him being like, ha-ha, call now, or something like that. And then we'll give away. What I'll do at first is we'll mail out 5,000 beans at a time. Those 5,000 bean cards, and that's a stake.
Yeah.
And we'll give away.
Let other people deal with importing those.
What do they call it?
Sprouting.
Yeah. But I think he called it a sprout. And no, not a sprout. I don't know. What do they call it when you put a seed in the ground?
Planting?
I don't know. I said something and they corrected me. So anyway, we've been talking about the tendency, at least on from the perspective of Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, for secularism to what's the word I'm looking for here?
To minimalize the human experience.
Yes, there we go. Very good. Now, we've heard Imam Zaid Shaker, we've heard a Muslim's perspective on this. Now, Aria, you brought in another guy, Phil Hellenes, correct?
Correct.
And, well, let's just listen to how similar their perspectives are.
Looking for to even partially comprehend the scale of a single galaxy is to almost disappear. And when you remember all the other galaxies, you shrink 100 billion times smaller still. But then you remember what you are. The same facts that made you feel so insignificant also tell you how you got here. It's like you become more real. Or maybe the universe becomes more real. You suddenly fit. You suddenly belong. You do not have to bow down. You do not have to look away. In such moments, all you have to do is remember to keep breathing. The body of a newborn baby is as old as the cosmos. The form is new and unique, but the materials are 13.7 billion years old. Processed by nuclear fusion in stars, fashioned by electromagnetism. Cold words for amazing processes. And that baby was you, is you. You're amazing, not only alive, but with a mind. What fool would exchange this for every winning lottery ticket ever drawn? When I compare what scientific knowledge has done for me and what religion tried to do to me, I sometimes literally...
All right.
Well, I love it. That's very much the perspective that I take, because it does require more than just basic scientific knowledge to truly grasp. And I think that's where the insignificance comes from, is people get a glimpse of the knowledge, but they don't have enough to truly understand what they're looking at. I mean, sure, compared to stars and galaxies, we are insignificant, but we are stars. We are literally children of stars. When stars die, they explode and they create the heavier elements, the carbon, the oxygen, and all of these other elements. They get thrown out into the universe and end up forming planets and other stars, and ultimately on this rock, humans. And the fact that, we are insignificant and there are all of these galaxies and things like that, it doesn't change the fact that it happened here. And because of that, I exist. And whether or not, some deity put that in motion or not, I think that we should be able to look at that and understand it in this proper context, that it's... I don't like the overtones of the word miraculous, but it is. It's unique. It's special.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's it, really. So the people who are going, oh, but you're so insignificant. I mean, yeah, maybe compared to the... But, I mean, are we really? Are we really? Because... we are the way that the universe experiences itself. To draw these false distinctions even between stars and planets and human beings, there's really no scientific justification for it. As far as we can tell, we're all exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same, because there's chemical differences and things like that, but we're all made of the same stuff, doing the same stuff, growing, evolving, changing. And by sheer coincidence or random chance or processes set in motion that we don't understand, or processes set in motion that we'll never understand because they were set in motion by some deity, it still happened. We're still here. We can still think. And as he said, that's worth more than every winning lottery ticket in the universe.
I would have to argue that the perspective, it only takes into account physics, I guess you could say. When I don't think even physics makes the claim that physics can explain everything. That there's always something that's
they're
outside.
trying to. It's called M theory.
M theory. So metaphysics.
Well, the mother of all theories is why they call it that, and it's just shorthanded to M theory. But I mean, why should this super theory that will describe everything, why should the universe be designed or set up, or whatever term you would like, such that we would even be able to discover this? Because if there is some universal set of laws governing everything, which, I mean, obviously there is, what we discover is going to be at the mercy of those universal laws. So we're going to find out what it wants us to find out.
See, that's I guess that's the difference in the Islamic conception of God, is that God is that thing which does not follow those laws. Like, there's only one thing in existence that lives outside of those laws, and that is God. And that's why we can't comprehend him, is because we can barely comprehend the laws. And he is beyond those laws.
And I'm okay with that sort of deity. I mean, in practice and in theory, because I don't understand infinity, or how a black hole can have infinite gravitational attraction. Or I prefer the term black star, because black hole leads people to think there's actually a hole out there in space, and there's not. It's just a super condensed star.
Yeah. All right. Well, when we get back here, we'll continue on with this discussion, and maybe we will add a little metaphysics to it when we get back.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Now, if you live in Michigan and you're getting like up-to-date vote totals for the governor's race, I would really, really like to hear them.
You can ask James Weeks.
Well, whoever it is. I want to know who is winning the governor primary for. Oh, not until 8:30. Oh well.
Well, never mind then.
Oh well. I'm sure there's exit polling.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh well. So we've been talking about secularism, I guess, materialism, modernism, but not really modernism.
Dehumanization, I would call it.
So instead of humanism, dehumanism.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're taking the majesty out of being human.
Because like Abdul Hakim Murad, like the big name imams at the universities would call that a result of humanism. And what you're saying is that it's...
Well, I'm a humanist, and I agree with him entirely, and I rejected this notion put forward by this crowd that I am insignificant. Screw that. Yeah, sure. And I'm a nihilist. I'm a full-blown nihilist, and nothing I do matters. I'm going to die. I'm going to rot in the ground. That's going to be the end of it. Nothing I will ever do is going to have any impact whatsoever on the larger picture. And I don't care.
Believe that.
It's completely irrelevant.
I believe in butterfly theory, like...
Well, whether it's true or not. Eventually planet Earth is going to die, and our sun is going to die, and our galaxy is going to die, and the entire universe is...
yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, nothing that I did here will matter. And,
okay.
And... some people are like, well, then what's the point of all this?
I guess that's what theists have, or at least Western theists have, is that when all of that is said and done, we have and then there's this.
Yeah, exactly. But see, what they don't understand is that it doesn't matter that none of that crap is going to matter, because it matters to me. And that's where a lot of these dehumanists diverge from true humanists. They say, well, nothing matters. Well, that's incorrect. Nothing objectively matters, but it matters immensely to the subject.
Well, in a discussion on Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, we actually have, again, this is at Zaytuna College, basically the argument that it is solely an issue of metaphysics.
This is a crisis of metaphysics, that you have to have a worldview that determines how you perceive reality. And we have a worldview that's been lost. The Muslims lost it. They had it. And interesting enough, it permeated every level of society. So through poetry, metaphysical poetry, your country bumpkins in Persia or Afghanistan knew Rumi poetry. They knew proverbs. They knew hadith. And they could say, and I've witnessed this from really simple Muslims, the most incredible wisdom. But that's been lost, and our culture had it with Christianity to a large degree. It's been removed, and we're living in a world of appetites. We are in an unreasonable world between spirit and appetite. That's the world we're in. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So that's frost. It's appetite or spirit. That's what's going to kill us.
The way that these ideas permeated was through popular culture, poetry, hadith, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. These things were axioms or by which people live their lives. And so it comes down, and now what's coming is do as thou wilt.
Do what thou wilt.
The common person was never aware of these intricate philosophical, divisions in the soul and so on. but it filters
I think
down.
they were, though. See, the average Muslim would have known about nafs al-ammara, nafs al-lawama, nafs al-mutma'inna. I think it was very common knowledge.
Okay.
You know, even the common people were in Sufi turuq. I mean, 80% of Moroccans 100 years ago were affiliated with the Sufi tariqah.
And they would get this.
I think very much so, yeah.
Okay.
And I think at khutbahs and things like that, people hear, I mean, every Friday they sit in front of an imam and they hear that imam telling them about those things.
Right.
So I think even in this culture, I mean, Thoreau in Walden talks about that, you know, yeoman who was reading Homer in Greek. You know, I mean, I think we underestimate how educated people were. Yeah, I think so. But I think you're right in that they would not have had a kind of philosophical like the intelligentsia. That's absolutely true. But I do think that they would have known a lot of principles that have been completely lost on modern people. Like Hindus. Hindus, to this day, like they know that you shouldn't pursue these gross desires and it's going to accrue bad karma and you shouldn't treat people. They know they have a metaphysical foundation. And we, in our culture, we have certain things, like what goes around comes around, right? Like people will say that, right? And I think, I would challenge you, John, in that I think a lot of people do know, like, obey your thirst. Did you ever see that billboard? Yeah. You know, I think there's, like, people know what appetites are. Like, I really shouldn't be having a second piece. You know, I mean, people do know that, you know, that they're doing things, they're transgressing. Oh, God, I had a horrible weekend. You know, we just binged watched television. You know, I think a lot of people know, and hence one of the biggest industries in our country is self-help books. And just go look at the titles, how to overcome your addictions, how to do this, how to do that.
Okay.
What's up? Well,
I loved Arya sits over there and scribbles, and then when he's done, I look at her and I'm like, all right, so let's hear your arguments.
Well, I wrote one sentence.
One sentence.
What he says about worldviews forming the foundation, or I don't remember how he phrased it, but how people establish worldviews and things like that. I've been having an argument on Facebook the last several infuriating days about this very subject, and the allegory of the cave, as written by Pluto, is critical to understanding how people's experiences plays into their worldview. And without giving the full description of the allegory, basically it's like, okay, some people are chained up inside of a cave and there are some shadows on the wall and they hear people talking and things like that. So they conclude that the shadows are the ones talking. So they have this entire worldview that consists of shadows that can talk. And they don't know any better. So they, you know, may establish mythologies and all kinds of things around that, like ancient humans did about with sun worship or star worship or even animal worship, because it, you know, it was their experience. But say one of the people gets free and he goes out into the world and the bright light hurts his eyes. So he comes back in and it's exactly the opposite, but his eyes hurt again and he can't see. So they go, oh, okay, well, stepping outside into the world damaged his eyes, now he's blind. And you end up with this collective of people inside of the cave who have been chained there, imprisoned there their entire lives, horribly mistreated their entire lives, fighting tooth and nail to remain where they are because they think if they go outside, they'll be hurt.
Oddly enough, Sheikh Hamza lectures on that very topic, the people of the cave. We'll be back in just a moment.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
to random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, we've been having a discussion about, about the individual and, how the individual has been kind of downplayed. And it's everywhere in our society. I mean, it's not just in the cosmology, in the metaphysical,
maybe
it's also in the politics now.
Maybe it's, a more widespread version of what boot camp does, only they're applying it to the whole of Western society in order to divide people up into these collectivist groups like, oh no, you're LGBT, you're black, you're part of this collective, you're part of that collective, you're part of this collective. It's a part of, I wonder, I'm just speculating here, whether the whole you're insignificant, you're nothing, you don't matter, is intended to have the same psychological impact as a, boot camp drill sergeant screaming in your face that you're a maggot.
Pushes people into groups.
Yeah, it breaks them down so they can be built back up as a group. And it seems like this would almost certainly be tied to the widespread collectivism that we see in society today.
Well, and that's why we have these conversations, folks.
That is something I'm going to spend some time writing about.
Yeah, because that's really what's going on. Is we're seeing society changed right before our eyes. It's part of the reason why I'm like, I wonder what's going on with this El Sayed primary. I hear he's only supposed to get 10%, and I would be particularly happy if he only got 10%. I am a little bit upset at the fact that, he runs for governor of Michigan as a Democrat and is a national name. I run for a much higher office as a libertarian, and the left-wing media, there was one article that was written about my run by the Huffington Post. It was written by a friend, and my friend told me, I'm sorry, but it has to kind of at least sound a little like a hit piece, because if it doesn't, they won't let me print it, and they'll take my ability to write articles for Huffington Post away.
And it's because you resisted that attempt to destroy the individual and shove them into a collective. It's like, how dare you? How dare you be an individual? How dare you not be a Democrat?
I'm running against Trump.
You should be filled with so much white guilt that you refuse to call yourself a Muslim.
Yeah, that sounds about right from some of the people. There's one guy, he's like, and I know
it is something out there, man.
I know him. The door. Yeah, go to it. I think. Unless it's not open. I don't know. It's like all these, it's very, very, it looks like there's going to be a really nasty storm. Oh, yeah. Can you hear the thunder? Oh, they were letting Jazzy in. Okay. Yeah, so they were putting the dog in. Anyway. So.
I thought I heard her whine earlier.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Anyway, so Hamza Yusuf's argument. You had something written down to...
Well, just the thing about the allegory of the cave. And as you pointed out, that's actually in the Quran as well.
Yeah.
And the argument from...
There's a whole chapter of the Quran.
I don't even want to refer to it now because I don't want to be disrespectful of it.
No.
But as you were saying, the perspective of the Quran is that it's the prophets who are the ones who go out of the cave and who come back and it's like, hey, what you're seeing there
is shadows.
Totally wrong.
Yeah, you're seeing shadows. This is what real life is out here.
And I think that would have been the point that Plato was attempting to make as well when he probably didn't come up with it himself either.
He says the philosopher. Well, yeah, supposedly, like, that's a very, very old story.
Yeah, I'm sure it's passed all the way down from Mesopotamia.
Probably.
So, but, I mean, it's an excellent point, and it's so true because I wrote something similar by accident before I'd ever read the Allegory of the Cave because I had these puppies that had never been outside, and to them that was their entire world, was this living room. And then one day they stepped outside, and they don't have the intellectual capacity to understand it, but in taking that one step, their entire world just expanded exponentially in ways that even if they were human beings, they wouldn't have been able to understand the difference in enormity. And I mean, we've experienced the same thing here as human beings when we
do it over and over again.
Yeah, and every single time we go, nope, this is it. This is the whole world.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, there are billions of these whole worlds, and our world is a tiny, 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 tiny fraction of the size of all that is. But this time we're right.
But again, you have to go back to kind of the butterfly effect theory of of social cohesion, in that, what you do affects other people around you, which affects the fabric, so to speak, of society as a whole, because your bad day can affect other people.
Well,
and
if I
that
didn't think I
affects
couldn't
other
have an impact,
people.
I wouldn't be doing a radio show and I wouldn't be writing books and stuff. But
you just don't see that impact as being lasting.
yeah, I think in general humans are going to evolve socially, culturally, intellectually toward whatever direction we're predisposed to evolve toward.
What about a fruit tree?
I mean, it's going to produce the fruit. I mean, sure,
long after you're dead.
Well, see, I was thinking about interesting. I was thinking about it from a totally different perspective. In that it will produce the fruit that it's going to produce.
Yeah,
and sure, I can take an apple and fix it to the pear tree, but in the end, the tree isn't going to produce apples.
But what I'm saying is that you can have a lasting effect on society and humanity and creation itself long after you're gone. All you really have to do is plant a fruit tree. And that tree will feed animals. It will feed people. It will feed bugs. It will feed creation for decades.
Yeah, but the general direction that the planet is going to go, or the planet's ecosystem, is going to remain unchanged by the existence of one tree. It will change to some degree, sure, absolutely.
So is that the difference in like me and a nihilist, is the fact that like I look at it, and even though there is, the
I recognize that the fruit tree will have a lasting effect for at least a century or so.
Yeah.
After which, those animals that ate that fruit their offspring might go on to do something else or plant another tree or who knows what. But whether or not any of that is going to change the overarching tendency of humans or organisms or birds or whatever is eating the fruit to die out.
So you don't think that while you can have an effect as far as feeding them, you can't affect them psychologically. You can't affect their emotions, their feelings.
I can't affect their evolution.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
But maybe I'm wrong. We can.
They'll cut that tree down if it gets in the way of progress. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm actually saying that I'm wrong because we absolutely affected the evolution of dogs. Cats have affected the evolution of humans. We've affected the evolution of frogs, apparently, and fish, and all.
Return the frogs, gay. They're gay. Oh, I better not say that. We'll get banned from YouTube and Facebook.
Oh, that's true. But so I don't know whether or not, and it doesn't even matter whether or not I can direct the flow of humanity's evolution because it doesn't matter. It matters to me, I suppose, because I would rather the world suck less when I leave it than it was when I entered it.
Yeah, that's me. That to me. To me, if you enter the world and something that you do makes it better than it was when you got here, then that's a successful life.
Yeah.
If you've had a positive effect on what's going to happen in the future of mankind in some way, even if it's small and local and just right in your own community. Anyway, when we get back here, it'll be time for the Crypto Hour. We're going to be talking about why the 3D printed gun controversy is important to the crypto space. When we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,101. Antiwar.com reports, speaking on Fox News Sunday, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton denied that the U.S. government had at all been involved in the reported Saturday assassination attempt in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. There were conflicting reports on what happened, but the government reported 7 National Guard soldiers were injured by a pair of drone-like devices that carried explosives. They believe this was a failed attempt to assassinate Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was unharmed. Firefighters at the scene said there was no attack at all, and the explosion was from a gas tank inside an apartment near the parade. Maduro had blamed the Colombian government for the attack, and arrests were made. Bolton said it was a pretext set up for the regime itself or something else, covering all possible bases. He added that if Venezuela had any hard information of U.S. involvement, the administration would take a serious look at it. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake Security Company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports after half a decade of declining attendance since the release of a controversial documentary, Blackfish, SeaWorld's troubles might be over. The company announced on Monday a near 5% jump in attendance in the second quarter. In addition to the 4.8% jump in attendance to 6.4 million people, SeaWorld said Monday total revenue increased by $18.2 million, or 4.9% in the second quarter. Net income for the quarter ending June 30th was $22.7 million, up from a net loss of $175.9 million during the same quarter in 2017. Interim CEO John Riley said the results were driven by our new strategic pricing strategies, new marketing and communications initiatives, and the positive reception of our new rides, attractions, and events. The company has come under fire in recent years after Blackfish offered a critical look at the amusement park's treatment and breeding of its famed killer whales, or orcas. CEO Joel Manby stepped down in February after SeaWorld lost more than $200 million in fiscal year 2017. In March 2016, the company announced it stopped breeding orcas and that those under its care would be the last generation of the animal kept in its water parks. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a federal court on Monday ruled that the Trump administration could not enforce an updated policy barring certain transgender individuals from serving in the U.S. military, becoming the second court in the country to rule against the federal government since it unveiled the policy in March. President Donald Trump announced on March 23rd that he would endorse a plan by Defense Secretary Jim Mattis that restricts military service of transgender people who experience a condition called gender dysphoria. The policy replaced an outright ban on transgender service members that Trump announced last year on Twitter, citing concerns over military focus and medical costs. U.S. District Judge Colleen Collar-Kettle in Washington denied a request by the administration to lift an injunction she had issued against Trump's original ban. Her ruling followed one by a federal judge in Seattle who in April also refused to allow the new policy to go into effect. The federal government had appealed that ruling to the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The administration argued that the new policy, which also bars anyone who requires or has undergone gender transition, was no longer a categorical ban. Collar-Kettle disagreed and in Monday's ruling said the new policy effectively implements the original ban by targeting proxies of transgender status such as gender dysphoria and gender transition and by requiring all service members to serve in their biological sex. The American Psychiatric Association defines gender dysphoria as a clinical significant distress due to a conflict between a person's gender identity and their sex assigned at birth. Not all transgender individuals suffer from gender dysphoria. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
With weather conditions in the Sahara among the most brutal in the world, the desert is a place suitable only for collapsing, dying, and rotting. Starvation is just one of the many possible outcomes for the gazelle or desert elk. It could also suffocate in a sandstorm, collapse of dehydration, or be run over by a dune buggy. Only the vulture has the wherewithal to survive in this nirvana of death. They feed on the dead of the Sahara. Uniquely adapted to the rigors of desert life, the vulture usually dies of heart disease after becoming overweight from the feast of carcasses. The landscape of the desert is dominated by towering sand dunes made from millions of years of ground-up bones. Another day ends in the Sahara, Earth's largest, most uncomfortable tomb.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hodul. Hodul.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by motionproject.org here on the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by the Motion Project over at motionproject.org here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. I'm joined in the studio today. It's just me and Aria. Chris had a tooth removed or a crown put in, or I don't know. He had some dental work done that he paid for in crypto here in Keene and needed the day off. So we told him to...
He paid that much crypto for something? I would so much rather pay cash. For something that was going to cost $200 or $300.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I get my engine done, whatever, you know. I don't care.
I would so much rather have the crypto.
No, that's what it's for.
In the long run, yeah.
For me, it's now. Anyway, this article comes with its very own trigger warning. Ching. Why the 3D printed gun debate matters to the crypto community. Now, While it may seem only tangentially related to cryptocurrency, the fight over the U.S. publication of software for 3D printed firearms bears close watching by the whole blockchain community.
It's already being watched. It's already being viewed. It's already available on blockchains.
That's right. And what's going on with that, Aria? You were telling me something going on with a friend of the show.
Yeah, well, in theory, a library, LBRY, supports any sort of file format you would like to upload and share. Well, someone realized that this includes 3D printing files. So they are uploading to library and putting it on the blockchain. Well, not really on the blockchain, but putting the reference on the blockchain. Anyway, 3D printing files, while they have not uploaded any plans to build a firearm or 3D print a firearm, they are doing chess sets and other I don't know, it's kind of random. It's like firefighters, teachers, and blank. It's just kind of random what they currently have. But absolutely, I'm going to do it this evening, in fact, because the 3D printed guns don't seem to be available on library. So they will be as of about 8 o'clock Eastern.
Right. The word publication should give you a hint why, as the case highlights freedom of speech issues that may resurface in future attempts by government to regulate crypto and distributed networks. More broadly, the groundswell of media hysteria and political grandstanding around this issue is a reminder of the type of resistance any game-changing technology is bound to meet. Stepping back, last week a federal judge issued a temporary restraining order against Defense Distributed, a company founded by the provocateur and crypto-anarchist Cody Wilson. The order barred the Austin, Texas-based firm from posting computer-aided design, or CAD, files online for weapons that can be manufactured at home with a 3D printer or a computer numeric control milling machine. Wilson had recently celebrated victory in a long-running fight with the federal government, which settled with his company and agreed to let it distribute the technical information, throwing in the towel on claims that what it was doing would violate munitions export rules. This capitulation prompted grasps of outrage from the likes of Senator Chuck Schumer of New York. Shortly thereafter, attorney generals from 8 states and the District of Columbia sued to stop the settlement, claiming that it violated administrative procedure laws and states' rights under the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. That's right, lefties suddenly invoking the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. In response to that suit, the judge issued a TRO, which Defense Distributed aided by refraining from posting the files, abided by refraining from posting the files. However, they are still available all over the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Streisand effect, and I think that's tremendously amusing that in this day and age, people in authority or people that other people are watching.
I think it's not the Streisand effect. I don't think it's the Streisand effect. I don't think.
Well, the Streisand effect posits that any attempt to cover up bad publicity amplify it exponentially.
Okay, I don't think that they're trying to cover it up. I think they're virtue signaling about it.
They're trying to prevent the 3D gun files from being available.
I don't believe that they are.
I mean, the judge ruled that.
I'm talking like
about the state.
The politicians.
I'm talking about the states as a whole. They're attempting to keep people from being able to print.
I'm
3D
talking
guns.
about the politicians. They're just virtue signaling. It's like the whole anti-Sharia bills kind of thing. You know, it's like, well, we don't have any answers.
Abolish ICE bills.
Yeah. Like, well, we don't have any answers to the problem, so we're going to write this piece of crap that, doesn't.
But it's not the
do
legislature
anything.
that's the issue here. It's the judges who do have the authority to say, hey, or who have presumed the
How
authority.
are you going to get it off of the internet?
Well, they can't now, and that's exactly the problem. Before they attempted to take them off the internet, it was just on this one site. And then they said, okay, no, you can't do this. And oh, crap, Now it's everywhere.
Oh, you mean like my collection of Norfed rounds?
Yes.
The Norfed rounds, they were being used as currency in a small town in Massachusetts, and the guy who was doing it got arrested and went to jail for 6 years for counterfeiting. Even though he wasn't counterfeiting, he made his own pure silver currency.
I mean, that has interesting applications for cryptocurrency and Keen.
Right. But I own a bunch of them because they arrested a guy for using them as money. Right. So I was like, well, I have to own as many of these as I can. It's one of those kind of things. I don't really believe. I think that they want the media and they want the hype because it's an election year and it gives them something that they can virtue signal to their base about.
Well, what's even better is that they've spent years talking about, well, the Second Amendment only applies to one-shot pistols and things like that. And like that's what you can print, really.
Yeah, it's a one-shot pistol.
So I would think that the Second Amendment applies to them.
As a matter of fact, the Liberator, you have to replace the barrel every time you fire it.
Wow. Well, there are some that are better than that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't remember the details about them now, so don't get me lying. But I do remember that there are some that are, to some degree, reusable. But I mean, if convicts in prison can make them out of, mattress springs and crap.
For real, yo, a buddy of mine was like, you think 3D printed guns are scary. Yeah. You should see what I can buy from Home Depot.
All it takes is understanding the concepts of how it works and being able to put it together. And I'm serious. Convicts in prison take the materials out of their cell blocks to make guns that actually fire. So
you can order, those classes that Sally Struthers or whatever it is sells on TV. She's like, you can take bookkeeping, medical encoding, gunsmithing. That's right. You can learn how to build guns from a mail-in course and get certified in to build guns for other people through the mail.
Yep, and if you don't put a special government serial number on it, you will go to federal prison.
And that's why they don't like the 3D printed guns. How can we tell what people are doing? It's none of your damn business what I'm doing.
That's what it all ultimately comes down to, is that they want to know.
The security state.
Well, security is the pretense for it, but really it's just a control state.
We'll be back.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
As Sao Paulo struggled to dig out after last week's devastating earthquake,
I'm just praying and helping.
One group was left with no one to care for them.
There is nowhere for these homeless dogs to go. There is no food to give them. There is no clean water. These dogs are going to starve to death. I have to do the humane thing. I have to put these dogs down.
O'Brady Shaw is the only journalist compassionate enough to do what has to be done.
Put down 50 or 60 dogs today. I didn't want to. Let me help you! But their fate would have been much worse if I hadn't done it. It's better this way.
O'Brady Shaw goes where other reporters won't and does the jobs other reporters can't.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Gut Check with O'Brady Shaw. Live from Sao Paulo. Tomorrow night, only on the Onion News Network.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencash studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we have been talking about 3D printed guns. And why is that whole argument important to people in the crypto space? I'm joined in studio by the queen of crypto herself, Miss Aria DiMezzo from cryptocurrencycheck.org. And let's see, where are we here? Says the question, is code speech? Wilson is...
That's moronic. It is.
Right.
Obviously, it's speech. I mean, that's a tautology. It's the written word. Is the written word speech? Obviously.
Well, Cody Wilson is a familiar figure in the crypto world, in part because of his work on Dark Wallet, a privacy-enhancing Bitcoin wallet. Big surprise about that with Cody. And also for his campaign to dismantle the Bitcoin Foundation during that organization's heyday.
To what extent did the Mythbusters prove it's possible to polish a turd?
But the relevance of Defense Distributed's current struggle to the blockchain world goes deeper than that simple coincidence. Winning this fight could prove crucial for Bitcoin and other crypto projects. Peter Todd, the well-known cryptography consultant, tweeted about the states after the states intervened. If you can't post technical blueprints to guns, banning technical blueprints to crypto, too, doesn't seem too far-fetched. Indeed, beyond the arcane procedural questions in the state's lawsuit, the fight arguably boils down to whether software is speech. Both cryptocurrency protocol software and AutoCAD files may be protected speech under the First Amendment, says Peter Van Valkenburg, the director of research at Blockchain's
I would go even further and say that they're protected by the Second Amendment, including cryptocurrency, because they are both weapons designed and utilized to fight the state, which is the entire purpose of the Second Amendment's protection of arms. In a very real sense, cryptocurrency is an arm that we are using to fight the state.
Says here, in either case, a law that attempted to censor or put prior approval or prior restraint upon the speakers of that speech would likely be considered unconstitutional. However, the free speech argument for code's not always a slam dunk in court. According to Aaron Wright, an associate clinical professor of law and director of the blockchain project at Benjamin N. Cardozo's School of Law at Yeshiva University, there's a notion in the crypto community that software is unimpeachably protected by the First Amendment.
Well, we don't really care if it's protected or not, because we don't recognize the validity of intellectual property, and so we're perfectly okay torrenting these things and using peer-to-peer technology in order to decentralize them and prevent the government from being able to shut them down in the first place.
Well, Wright says that the view that software is unimpeachably protected by the First Amendment is simply not the case. If someone develops and implements software that runs afoul of U.S. law, they'll face liability. In their book, Blockchain and the Law, The Rules of Code, Wright and co-author Primavera De Filippi, I can't believe her name is Primavera De Filippi, note that courts in the U.S. have already denied First Amendment protections. That's racist for one kind of software because it had no purpose other than facilitating illegal gambling. Looking ahead, they add, if governments choose to regulate blockchain developers, some code may be protected by the First Amendment while other code may not. For instance, decentralized e-commerce marketplaces used for exchanges of everyday items potentially unlawful products could receive First Amendment protection because they facilitate both lawful and unlawful acts. Conversely, decentralized prediction markets and exchanges that facilitate the trading of binary options would likely be deemed to violate existing law, like the Commodities Exchange Act. Legal questions aside, disruptive technologies, both in the world of atoms and in the world of bits, run the risk of attracting a frightened and angry mob. To Andrew Glidden, the head of the legal research team for blockchain at Berkeley Law, a student club at the University of California's Berkeley Law School, the hoopla over 3D printed guns resembles the moral panics we face about evil internet money. He points out that home manufacture of firearms has long been legal in the U.S., provided that they're not transferred to another person and are not fully plastic.
Well, that's not true at all. My grandfather has made his own gun, and he's been raided and has had to hide it in order to prevent it from being confiscated and being thrown in prison. It's not completely legal in the United States. It's totally a violation of federal law to make your own firearm.
Information about how to build weapons is already in the public domain. Compounding the silliness of the present controversy, Glidden went on, is the way some have conflated two different technologies Defense Distributed is involved in, thereby overstating the risks. Defense Distributed's 3D printed plastic pistol, known as the Liberator, is inexpensive to produce and potentially undetectable if the maker ignores the CYA instruction to add a small block of steel, but largely useless, less capable than a black powder musket, and liable to explode in the user's hand. On the other hand, the company.
But you know what's completely quiet, untraceable, and unreliable? And totally reliable?
Huh.
A fiberglass bow.
Right.
We need to ban those.
On the other hand, the company's CNC milled metal firearms are functional but expensive and detectable, Glidden noted. The moral panic is premised on taking the most evil characteristics of each, combining them together, and then releasing that as the story to the public.
So business as usual.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that what they already do about everything anyway? That's
Right.
like, that's just the way we do business here in America.
Yeah, we're in a perpetual state of hysteria. And if the clowns of 2016 didn't prove that,
yeah, absolutely.
Then
all right, well, you hear there, it's our motion faucet. Give us a call, 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. Claim your 10 free motion coins right now. We'll be back after this.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour here on LRN.FM. And we've been discussing 3D printed technology and whether or not code can be considered free speech. Now,
it's an excellent case as well for how behind technology the state is always going to be, and why its primary purpose is to stifle technology, and that's why it has all these regulations and hurdles for developers and innovators to jump
well, yeah,
through.
because they're getting their pockets filled by the people. It's like
it's so much worse than that.
It's the what is it, the story of the candlestick, the candle maker, and the light bulbs.
Yeah, except it's worse than that, because this technology is ways in which we intentionally circumvent and make obsolete the state and its methods. Because people didn't like gun control and the government telling them what guns they could and couldn't buy, we developed the technology to make your own guns cheaply and easily. And we've done the same with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, they're doing it right now.
And
who's doing it? Coinbase! But what have they done? Well, they've also helped make a couple people a little bit of money the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It turns out that there's a new top 10 cryptocurrency. As of today, the total value of all Ether Classic, the cryptocurrency that powers the Ethereum Classic blockchain in circulation, has topped $2.2 billion. A move that helped it lead from 12th place at the start of the day to 10th place, according to CoinMarketCap data.
Which is interesting because Ethereum Classic is actually down from what it was last night.
Best known as the original Ethereum blockchain, or the version in which funds stolen in a high-profile 2016 hack still belong to the attacker, Ethereum Classic is benefiting from tailwinds provided by major market listings. Already,
you could also call it the coin with integrity, the coin where code actually matters, the coin that won't hard fork anytime something bad happens and you have enough people crying about it, the coin you can trust in to not do crap like that.
Yeah. Well, already August 6th has seen the addition of Ethereum Classic to U.S. crypto brokerage Robinhood's trading system, news that was followed by a pop in price amid access to new market liquidity. As a result, the listing could be seen as a catalyst that helped ETC scale significant resistance at $19, a level that it failed to scale on multiple occasions. Propelled in part by the announcement that Ethereum Classic is currently up 8.5% on the day, a figure that's helped it gain ground on competing cryptocurrencies. At 2 o'clock, Ethereum Classic passed IOTA, the cryptocurrency that powers the IOTA blockchain, claiming the 10th spot on CoinMarketCap's chart and creating a fresh 3-month high of $20.37.
Didn't IOTA get hacked like 3 times within 2 weeks?
Yes.
So passing them isn't really That impressive.
Bitfinex data shows Ether Classic had largely traded between $14.18 and $18.99 since the middle of May, slipping only once below. However, an announcement from Coinbase, one which declared Ethereum Classic's listing on its exchange, helped push prices higher on June 21st. As a result, an increased retail investor interest spurred on by greater market accessibility, traders are once more switching over to Ether Classic, an
this is
activity
nothing.
that could continue ahead of Coinbase's expected listing tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's what it says.
Interesting. Well, I certainly enjoyed how Bitcoin Cash tripled its value the last time that Coinbase added a new currency. I'm hoping to see something similar of Ethereum Classic. I don't think it will go that high because the markets are generally downtrending, but at the same time, I'm using my crypto to buy Ethereum Classic, so taking out of one that's going down to put it into one that's going up, while it's continuing to go up and they're going to continue to go down, it's win-win.
Right? No brainer.
Even if Ethereum Classic just stays where it's at, I'm still going to be gaining money when I flip back into Bitcoin and Dash and Litecoin.
Right. Speaking of Ethereum.
And Ethereum.
Yes. Speaking of Ethereum, Blockchain Cuties, the collectible game, continues to expand its offering both in terms of collectibles and in-game features.
I quit, Will.
Huh?
I quit again.
One of the prime examples of this are the new limited edition collectibles. Limited edition cuties are Generation 0 collectibles with a unique appearance and game properties. Only 10 cuties in each edition are available for sale. These collectibles have already gained major popularity among players.
I begged for this crap not to come to crypto because we already have to deal with it in video games, with Insincera video games, with this pointless vanity DLC that costs real money or that costs an unrealistic amount of time in order to gain and crap like that. It's already infected every game that has come out in the last 5 years. I was really hoping we could keep it the hell away from our cryptocurrency. I should have known that wasn't going to happen, though.
Well, duh.
Well, I mean, yeah, because CryptoKitties exists, and that's Vanity the game.
And now we have CryptoCuties. Now, the collectibles in the first limited edition were Owl, Three-Tailed Fox, Red Dragon, Alien, Kitsune, and Football Legend. Most of those cuties are already sold out on the market. Now, 3 more limited edition cuties are coming to market.
How do you sell out of a digital good?
Right? All of them.
That sounds like market manipulation to me and controlling the supply in order to increase prices. But hey, what do I know? Just economics.
Most of them, let's see, all of them actually will be superhero-inspired collectibles. When purchasing this collectible, the player acquires not only the cutie itself, but also a unique set of items that come along with it. The first super cutie hero is Ethor. It's Thor.
So what do these crypto cuties do?
They're for a video game, it says. And now you have Thor powers in a Thor costume. It's already available on the market and selling fast. Ethor has a unique appearance and background. He also has a unique set of 3 items. Ethor's helmet, Ethor's armor, and of course, the mighty Ethor's hammer. There are only 10 sets like it in the game. All of Ethor's set items have unique and strong in-game properties that make the cutie wearing them a fearsome competitor.
Oh, so it's pay to win.
In both PvP adventures and boss rage, which will soon be added to the game.
I mean, who doesn't like a bunch of pay to win in your MMO? Especially ones that have PvP.
Sounds like you've got PMS.
I have PvP problems.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about crypto cuties.
Well, we've been talking about cancer.
We've been talking about the phenomenon on the Ethereum blockchain that is crypto cuties. I'm looking at some of these. You've got a goat now. There's a kitty cat. Here's one for sale. 0.2630 Ethereum. Oh, but look at this bad boy up here. This is lightning fast.
So that's 75
iron-like.
bucks. That's about $75.
You got to look at this thing. I don't know what it is. It's a Generation 0 alien. Comes equipped with the mighty alien Tyrant Claw, which regenerates 1 adventure cooldown. It is all decked out. 6.6550 Ethereum.
0.6?
No, 6.6.
Oh, holy crap. So like $2,600.
Yeah. And that's just for an alien. Here's another alien that is
Insanity
free.
comes in strange flavors.
How do you make them? Can you design your own and then sell them? That's what I want to do.
You could. We could make the tokens, and you design them, and then we run an ICO where people. Well, I guess it technically would be an ICO, but people buy the tokens that they want to buy the figure or whatever it is that you've created.
You just have to make it
appealing.
Whoa,
and then
go
promote
back,
the
go
crap
back.
out of it.
Go back. I wanted to see how much it actually.
We could make one of you and me and Ian. It's just call it the LRN.
Oh, yes. Mr. Bean.
Yeah, and Mr. Bean.
There can only be one. There can only be one. Come on, man.
So
Keep
we should have played the
going.
BitConnect song coming back while we're over here talking about
BitConnect.
clever ways to take money from stupid people.
Generation 0. Unique. There we go. Unique. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see how much.
And then after like 6 months, we redesign them all. We redesign all the figures, and we call it Generation 1. And we say, okay, well, your Generation 0 ones, they can no longer be used in the game. You have to buy our Generation 1 tokens now.
Well, now, this looks pretty cool. They've got a hat. It's like, it doesn't say how much he costs. I want to see how much they cost. Oh, so you can go to the page and look at how cool they look. Or you can buy them.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Well, because I want to know how much they cost, though. Like, how much does a Thor cost?
What didn't the alien one cost like 6 Ethereum?
6.5 Ethereum.
So I mean, if we assume that's as a baseline,
and that's just no, because there's another one. It looks exactly the same, just with a different colored background. It's 3.4 Ethereum, and it's an alien as well. I guess and they look exactly the same. They're next to each other.
I'm not surprised.
Right.
I want to be surprised, but I'm not. I mean, God, it's so easy to get money from people if you're shady and you don't care about the fact that you're taking 3 Ethereum from someone who is apparently just kind of dumb.
Right.
I mean, that you can play Pokemon if you want a digital creature. Tamagotchi, I think, is available online for free now, and it will evolve into crap.
It finally moved. Oh, wow. They've got a blue lizard looking thing for 0.1. Oh, there's a Thor. Oh, only 2.9. 2.9231 for an eThor. Lightning fast.
Yeah, so a little over $1,000.
Yeah. And then you've got the one that I like. It's QD number 78 something something something.
You know, to each their
It's
own.
a blue lizard.
But if what you're wanting is, you know, to be overpowered in a video game, take that Ethereum and sell it and play Aeon or Rift or some actual game with graphics and playability and use that $1,000 to just buy your way to victory. I mean, if that's what you're wanting to do anyway, you will have all of the rare crap that no one else can afford, so it's the same thing, only it's an actual video game instead of exploitation of stupid people. Well, we could call those synonyms, I suppose.
So we've got most expensive first, and the most expensive one is that 6.65, then the 3.4. Then you've got then from there they fall 1.65, 1.07, 0.5, and then they get down to, you know, you've got a hood.
So it's very similar to CryptoKitties.
Yes.
As we discussed a few weeks ago.
Only
where some of them were 27, 28 Ethereum. Or I think one was even 300 Ethereum. But then you had some that were like 0.0002.
Yeah, I'm about to see how much the cheapest one is. The cheapest one.
It's just going to be a group of 4 black pixels.
Right? Cheapest first. 0.247. That's the lowest price they go for. It looks like. No. 0.024. But they're very. Oh, there's a little. I like him.
I guess that's not bad. That's a couple of bucks.
0.035. It's a blue dragon with big purple eyes and yellow spots. I like him. He's my new friend.
Sounds like Spyro.
I don't know what it is, but I like him.
Awesome.
I use some of my Ethereum Classic profits to buy a crypto.
Just please don't buy the $300 ones or the $1,000 ones.
Buy a crypto lizard. Oh my God. I'm not spending more than $1 on any of this crap. I want you to develop. We need to get them to make a Mr. Bean for us.
We do.
That'd be great. A little flying super bean.
I mean, well, I don't know. They probably wouldn't because Bean Cash is a competitor for them.
Oh, very true, very true.
But we could make it.
How much is 0.1 Ethereum right now? That's like $70, isn't it?
0.1?
Yeah.
It's about 40, I think. Isn't Ethereum about $400? So 10% of it's about 40.
How much is Ethereum right now? CoinDesk says they don't know. That's weird. Usually it's up there. I'm still like these cuties, man. Ethor is a first cutie and it's sold with a unique set of items. It's strongest only in the paws of its rightful owner. However, even if the player chooses to dress another cutie in the set, Ethor, like all other limited edition cuties, will still be displayed wearing the items. Blockchain cuties continue enriching the game experience and adding value to their players. These new limited...
They misspelled themselves. They're enriching themselves.
Right?
But I mean, I can't hate on them for it because it's clever. It's not a good idea, but it's a clever idea.
Right. It makes money, man.
Yeah, quite a bit, apparently.
Beat it till it stops bleeding money.
But it's so artificial. It's so artificial. I don't think it's right because they could release 10 billion of those Ethors, and it wouldn't really cost them anything except profits. And the only reason they're getting those profits is because they're refusing to release many of them. They're only releasing some, which, what do we know about supply and demand? The lower the supply, the more people are going to pay for it.
Yeah, there's only 10 sets of armor, you know.
Yeah, so you get into this sort of bidding situation of people trying to pay everything that can scrounge together because they must have it when it wouldn't cost them anything. So, okay, well, we'll actually do 11 and 12. 47,000.
Right. All right. When we get back here on the Call to Freedom, we're going to be having a conversation about reading. That's right. Reading and literacy is the most, quote, literate country on earth. literally.
Catch the Call to Freedom at its new time, weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. The Call to Freedom is the only live drive-home call-in show in the U.S. with a segment devoted to cryptocurrencies. Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, live from Vertcoin Studios in New Hampshire. Learn about what makes cryptocurrencies so great and why you should care about them. Updates on new coins and ICOs, and warnings of scams. Plus, hear from traders, whales, developers, and big names in the crypto world. You can also win crypto coins or tokens every episode. Just listen for the faucet sound and be the 5th caller to get free Dash, Litecoin, Vertcoin, Verge, or other cryptocurrencies. The Call to Freedom with Will and Aria, featuring Crypto Hour. Broadcast internationally through our BitPlus network satellite. Weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. on LRN FM.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,101. Antiwar.com reports, speaking on Fox News Sunday, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton denied that the U.S. government had at all been involved in the reported Saturday assassination attempt in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. There were conflicting reports on what happened, but the government reported 7 National Guard soldiers were injured by a pair of drone-like devices that carried explosives. They believe this was a failed attempt to assassinate Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was unharmed. Firefighters at the scene said there was no attack at all, and the explosion was from a gas tank inside an apartment near the parade. Maduro had blamed the Colombian government for the attack, and arrests were made. Bolton said it was a pretext set up for the regime itself or something else, covering all possible bases. He added that if Venezuela had any hard information of U.S. involvement, the administration would take a serious look at it. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports after half a decade of declining attendance since the release of a controversial documentary, Blackfish, SeaWorld's troubles might be over. The company announced on Monday a near 5% jump in attendance in the second quarter. In addition to the 4.8% jump in attendance to 6.4 million people, SeaWorld said Monday total revenue increased by $18.2 million or 4.9% in the second quarter. Net income for the quarter ending June 30th was $22.7 million, up from a net loss of $175.9 million during the same quarter in 2017. Interim CEO John Riley said the results were driven by our new strategic pricing strategies, new marketing and communications initiatives, and the positive reception of our new rides, attractions, and events. The company has come under fire in recent years after Blackfish offered a critical look at the amusement park's treatment and breeding of its famed killer whales, or orcas. CEO Joel Manby stepped down in February after SeaWorld lost more than $200 million in fiscal year 2017. In March 26, 2016, the company announced it stopped breeding orcas and that those under its care would be the last generation of the animal kept in its water parks. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a federal court on Monday ruled that the Trump administration could not enforce an updated policy barring certain transgender individuals from serving in the U.S. military, becoming the second court in the country to rule against the federal government since it unveiled the policy in March. President Donald Trump announced on March 23rd that he would endorse a plan by Defense Secretary Jim Mattis that restricts military service of transgender people who experience a condition called gender dysphoria. The policy replaced an outright ban on transgender service members that Trump announced last year on Twitter, citing concerns over military focus and medical costs. U.S. District Judge Colleen Collar-Kettle in Washington denied a request by the administration to lift an injunction she had issued against Trump's original ban. Her ruling followed one by a federal judge in Seattle who in April also refused to allow the new policy to go into effect. The federal government had appealed that ruling to the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The administration argued that the new policy, which also bars anyone who requires or has undergone gender transition, was no longer a categorical ban. Collar-Kettle disagreed and in Monday's ruling said the new policy effectively implements the original ban by targeting proxies of transgender status such as gender dysphoria and gender transition and by requiring all service members to serve in their biological sex. The American Psychiatric Association defines gender dysphoria as a clinical significant distress due to a conflict between a person's gender identity and their sex assigned at birth. Not all transgender individuals suffer from gender dysphoria. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
To help you understand how dangerous narcotics operations have persisted despite decades of bold efforts to completely mishandle the problem, we now present The Onion Explained, the drug trade. The cartels remain as powerful as ever. Experts say that the only solution is to eliminate the demand for illegal drugs by instead getting buzzed on common household products, like cough syrup. Not only do items such as nail polish remover and model glue get you ripped if you really breathe that in, they also help shrink the market for cartel drugs. Cartels would stand to lose billions if even a third of the people using their cocaine or methamphetamine instead huffed Freon, which will knock you right on your ass just as quickly. It's easy to get by cracking open an air conditioner. If enough people realize that keyboard cleaner will put you in a insane trance and that it's just sitting there right now in your desk drawer, the costly war on drugs could very well end tomorrow.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's another beautiful day here in the Shire. And now we hinted a little bit before we left about a conversation about reading. At least the first half of the second hour of the show is going to be about reading books and how does reading affect societies globally.
Human history. Iqra, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. I mean, the first command in the Quran is read. And, you know, readers are leaders, they say, right? That's something they say. Readers are leaders. Iqra warqa, read and rise. I wanted to start a movement in our community called Read and Rise, because I saw a map of the people that read the most books in the world. And the countries that were doing the best had the highest number of books read per year per capita. So there's a direct correlation to reading and human flourishing. Direct correlation. And we're not Rousseauian primitivists. You know, this romanticism that people have about Aboriginals and primitive peoples. You know, there's a kind of romanticism a lot of people... Many primitive cultures were brutal. The Peruvian, they just found 150 children that were sacrificed by one of the Peruvian Indian cultures, right? A few hundred years ago. 150 children, ritual sacrifice. Human sacrifice was common in many parts of the world. And then there was a lot of fighting. This idea they were all living in nature and everything was wonderful. They were fighting constantly. The Irish tribes were constantly fighting. The Germanic tribes were constantly fighting. They were barbarians. This idea, though, it was all wonderful, living in nature, this Rousseauian fallacy. Now, there's something very noble, undeniably, about many Aboriginal peoples. But if you want to see an amazing sign of what it was like in the pre-modern world, which is more Hobbesian than Rousseauian, in the pre-modern world, there's a image of an Amazonian Indian who meets this white man, and they're filming it. It's the first time this tribe ever saw anybody outside of the jungle. And they come out with their bows right on them. Right? And if you read Lewis and Clark's travel log, when they would meet Indian tribes, they would get the reason they brought the girl, Sacagawea, right? The reason they brought her was because Native Americans tended not to attack parties that had women and children. Generally, not always, but generally, that was a principle. So if there were women and children, they just leave you out of deference. They actually had they thought the whites were horribly cruel to children because they didn't have the kind of punitive punishment, which is part Sharia as well. Like, children cannot be hit, and they should never be hit until they're at least 7, and then even then you would never hit them hard. It's just like, you know, just like a slap or something, but never hard, never on the face, never bruise them. You know, physical violence against children is criminal activity. But and also Benjamin Franklin wrote an essay about the Native Americans. He said one of the things about the whites that went native, right? They didn't want to come back, right? So the Native American peoples had many, many virtuous qualities, undeniably. But they also had a lot of war and between tribes. The Pawnee and the Lakota were fighting before. The Pequods were wiped out because their natural enemies allied with the English immigrants to wipe them out. And there were a lot of alliances between Native Americans and the English to fight their natural enemies before they came. This is all history. So romanticizing this kind of primitive past is very dangerous for our community. We're people that believe in learning, erudition. We believe in scholarship. We honor scholars. It doesn't mean we don't dishonor. And one of the beauties of Islam is they always honored Aboriginal peoples. They never belittled them. They never held them in contempt because they were Aboriginal. Our Prophet ﷺ was raised by Aboriginals. And the Quran clearly states, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ. We made you peoples and we made you tribes. So these are the two ways human beings exist in the world. And this is why Mauritania is unique in that these are Aboriginal peoples that are people of great erudition. They're unique amongst Aboriginals, and this is a testimony to Islam. Because these are nomadic people that are living in very primitive environments, teaching logic and rhetoric and grammar. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it anywhere in the Muslim world. So that's important. We don't belittle these people at all, and I'm not really. There is a lot of amazing qualities in traditional peoples. But there's also a lot of negative. They're human beings. They have their good and their bad, just like everybody else. But we're people of literacy. We believe that it's a great gift, that reading and symbolism and abstract thought, that these are great gifts for humanity and part of the intended purpose of our species.
All right, Arya.
Well, he's right again. Reading, the way I would put it is that reading allows one to organize one's thoughts. Because things that are written are so systematically structured in a way that is conducive to that. So I think that having a habit of reading attempts or helps one attempt to organize their own thoughts and think sequentially from A to B to C to D, because that's the way books are laid out. And that's the way movies are laid out as well, and songs, and just about every other form of entertainment or learning that we have. But they don't require nearly as much thought on the part of the viewer or the reader. I mean, that's why classical music is supposed to make people, to some degree, more intelligent as well, as learning to play an instrument. All of these sorts of things are known to make people more intelligent. And I think that it's all related, and it's all because it's teaching the person the organization of their own thoughts.
I'm looking at literacy rates, and Democratic Republic of Korea is best Korea. Because they're the only country with a 100% literacy rate.
That may be because they shoot you if you turn out to not be able to read.
Or they just say everyone knows how to read. Estonia, Lithuania, Azerbaijan. I don't believe 99% literacy rates. Bull. I don't believe it. Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago has a 99% literacy rate.
More of the population is dyslexic than that. And dyslexia doesn't cause illiteracy, but there is a high correlation.
Huh.
But I mean, we don't read here in the United States, and that's a substantial problem for someone like me who is a writer. Newspapers are dying. Even Wikipedia is not doing nearly as well as it should be, because people only read about things if it crosses their mind to be interested in it, instead of clicking random article. And I mean, there is the Wiki Walk, which is sort of where you click on a article and you just see where you end up. But that it's only a certain type of person who already reads books who is going to do that anyway.
Yeah, see, these are more reasonable numbers. We've got Russia. Bye.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Now, it's important to keep in mind that marital life due to constant
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It is another beautiful day in the Shire, and we've been talking about reading. That's right, reading. Now, most people think that America is just, oh, well, you know, we're right up there. We're smart pants. Well, you know what? Looking at the numbers, average. Americans are average. Number one is Russia, actually. A country with the highest literacy rate, with almost 53% of their population with a tertiary education. And estimated that 95% of adults in Russia have a higher secondary education, and the country spends about 4.9% of its GDP on education. Canada coming in second, with an education expenditure of 6.6% of the GDP. Now, remember these numbers. Canada has the highest proportion of career and skill-based education, overall literacy rate of 51.3%. Number 4 is Japan with a 46%. Israel, spending 7.5% of its GDP on education, boasts a literacy rate of only 46%. And then the U.S. in 5th place, they spend 7% of their GDP with a literacy rate of 43%. So
it's lower than I would expect.
We spend,
but I mean, what are we defining as illiteracy for this? Is it the total
tertiary
inability?
education? So we're saying like up through middle school, which doesn't mean that they'll have any understanding of the words that they're reading. I think in Russia, you're more likely to actually have an understanding because the way they teach is like it's still family and communal rather than, it's like the U.S. and Russia flipped.
I mean, the issue is that we learn to read in the 1st and 2nd grade or even in kindergarten, and then we never really touch it again except to read other books.
I'm seeing...
Hold on, because that sounded moronic. Except to read other textbooks.
I'm seeing...
the bare minimum.
A little bit of a pattern here. From 4th down, every country spends 7 or more % of their GDP on education. From there up, it's less. Japan, 5%, Canada, 6.5%, Russia, 4.9%. So the top 3 spend less than 7% of their GDPs on education, and everybody else spends a mint. Finland spends 7%.
But it's not government spending on education that is going to help or hurt literacy in the first place. It's parents and reading with their children and not reading with their children. Yeah, it's a culture issue.
New Zealand,
that's why
7%.
The literacy rate sucks, because parents suck.
South Korea, 8%. U.S. 7%. They're all high spenders because just throw some money at it. And are those all countries that are usually Australia, UK, New Zealand, South Korea, United States, Israel? Aren't they all like basically butt buddies? Like they're the unholy alliance of the world now.
Also the ones run by governments that don't want people to be able to read and think.
Who thought we should go to Iraq? Oh, let's see. Israel, the United States, South Korea. The unholy alliance, the solution is just throw some money at it.
Yep. No matter how much it doesn't work.
What was the last?
Because, kids aren't being taught a love for chess or love for playing musical instruments or love for anything beyond whatever happens to be pop music these days.
Ocasio-Cortez, that was it. That's what I was saying last week about her when they were like, she was like, I've done an economics and I know how money works because I believe 4 + 4 = 55. That's her generation is the No Child Left Behind generation. That was the everything is what's on the test. I got lucky. I graduated the year before they stared.
I was a No Child Left Behind.
The only thing we teach is the test. You're so lucky. It's so unusual for people from that generation forward to have been able to break out. My sister went to a private school.
That's what I was saying, is that it's not
on.
about luck at all. It's about, just having the ability to look at the teachers in the classroom and say, this is a complete waste of time. If I wasn't legally required to be here, I would not be here. In fact, I dropped out my senior year as soon as I was legally able to, because it was a complete and total waste of time. 12 years? You mean to tell me it takes you 12 years before you can learn how to use a comma, and when you graduate, you still can't do it? Screw that. Why do you have to take seven freaking years of elementary arithmetic before you can even comprehend the concept of a triangle?
I'll do you one better than that. Senior year, high school. I'm in Florida now. I've moved to Florida halfway through my junior year. I'm in a school, North Marion High School. It's in Ocala, Florida. And you remember the Trayvon Martin hearings?
Mm-hmm.
You know the girl that they made fun of her because of how bad her English was?
No.
Go watch the video and then imagine that girl is teaching your American history class.
All right.
That was my high school. And that's no joke. Like, my American history teacher couldn't speak English.
Wow.
I mean, what she spoke, I'm sure, is somehow related to English.
Yeah. Like they share a root.
They share a common root. Yeah. And that's about it. And she was the teacher. And if it wasn't in the book, if it wasn't in the guide, don't ask. Because I would ask questions about stuff that I had learned in Tennessee at a decent school. And I was like, well, what about this? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, but no, you're the history teacher. I don't know.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And it's
but you know quite a lot about history. And it's because there's a lengthy list in your Netflix history of documentaries that you have watched.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all I do.
It's about finding something you're interested in and reading. I'm sure you've read plenty of books about the subjects as well.
Yeah.
I mean, documentaries are great. I don't want to lump them in.
I started reading about military history when I was in like the 7th grade. Like the first book that I read was about the torture of an American officer because he had got caught up in something where he had taught torture tactics to some people in like Colombia or El Salvador or something in the 70s. And some guy joined the army just so that he could get access to him.
It's like what happened to the inventor of the bronze bull. You know, he made this device that was meant to be burned and had these horns and stuff in it to make the person sound like a bull as they screamed and died. And so when the guy finished it, the king was like, hey, go get in and show me what it sounds like. And the guy did. They shut it and they tortured him to death. Wow. I mean, it's hard to feel bad when that happens. Like, dude, you invented this horrible device.
Yeah.
You kind of had it coming.
Anyway, when we get back here, we're gonna talk.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're moving right along. We had a story that I bumped into today earlier, and I was telling Aria about it, and we both talking about it, had a little laugh, and then Mark came in, and we were talking to him about it and had a little laugh. So we figured we'd talk to you about it, and you could have a little laugh of your own. Now, I'm not sure if you all know what the NHS is. That's the National Health Service in England. It's their socialized medicine. And, well, they are facing legal action over fertility treatments for gender transitioning patients. That's right, England's NHS must offer transgendered patients awaiting transition treatment access to fertility transition treatments access to fertility services, or face legal action according to the country's equality watchdog. The Equality and Human Rights Commission, which is funded by the government but operates independently, said it's threatening legal action unless NHS England changes its outdated policies. It's time for them to get woke. According to the EHRC, NHS England's policies discriminate against the transgendered community, and it's threatening legal action unless they're changed, and urgently. So listen up, Queenie. You got to get with the program, Granny. Aria, I just keep ad-libbing because I know Aria's going to lose it again.
I'm so confused, man. Okay, so a male to female trans person who has not yet begun hormone treatment wants treatment to help them impregnate women. And female to male trans people want fertility treatment to get pregnant. It's really like they don't know that women can't impregnate and men can't get pregnant. Because, I mean, it's one or the other.
Well, this actually sounds like they're already on the what do you call it? The pills.
Well, you said awaiting transition treatment or whatever near the beginning.
Says,
but I mean, it really doesn't matter.
We're failing to provide. NHS is failing to provide standard fertility services to transgendered patients before they're treated for gender dysphoria, the condition where a person experiences discomfort or distress because of a mismatch between their biological sex and gender identity. Fertility services are being curtailed in many parts of the UK to cut
because it's
costs.
important.
Okay.
See, this kind of crap that they're forcing on the NHS, that is not going to help gender dysphoria. It's like that guy I was referring to earlier who wants me to call him a girl while he's got a beard. It's like, dude, calling you a girl is not going to help your gender dysphoria when you're sporting a beard. And if you're wanting to transition to being a female, getting a woman pregnant, which is a distinctly male phenomenon, is not going to help your dysphoria. It's going to make it worse. You have to pick one or the other. And transitioning destroys your fertility anyway. Sure, your stuff will still work if you have high enough sex drive in the first place. I don't know how testosterone treatment affects women, but I would tend to think that it would have a pretty similar effect as far as fertility goes. So it's like, I want to do this thing that's going to completely destroy fertility, but because healthcare is free, I guess, I want the government to also give me this thing that is going to increase fertility. Even though I'm now a man who can't impregnate a woman, but who can get pregnant, or I'm a woman who can impregnate a woman, but can't get pregnant. It's so confusing that I don't even know where to start.
Well, I'm looking here like they're also arguing that women who want to become men, the NHS should use taxpayer money to freeze transgender teens' sperm and eggs.
Okay, the sperm is unnecessary. Well, I guess if you're going for full SRS, yeah, you might want to. But even then, you could still. You don't technically need sperm for that.
No. The UK government is paying for gender-confused boys as young as 12 years old to freeze their sperm so that after they transition to having no male genitals, they can still father children. Okay,
well, hold on, because that's SRS, and that's totally different. Not every transsexual person
has SRS.
I would
How
agree
can
that
they be
before
doing
you get your nuts
this?
slopped off, it's probably a good idea to freeze some sperm.
Well, what I'm saying though is, how can they do this, and they can argue like the NHS is anti-trans and not working for trans fertility and not is standing in the way of trans people being able to procreate?
Well, it's further confusing.
How on earth?
No, it's transphobic, actually. What they're trying to make the NHS transphobic because at best, if a boy freezes his sperm, transitions into a woman, undergoes sexual reassignment surgery, and then decides, you know what, I want to have a child, and I don't have balls anymore, so I can't produce sperm. That is this type of thing that's going to lead to the boy or the woman regretting having the SRS, which is just going to fuel the right, saying, oh, look at all these people who undergo the surgery who then regret it. So, I mean, it's not a good idea. And I don't have the capabilities to parse all of that together while we're live on the air, but it's not good. In addition to being confusing and in addition to being moronic, it's also bad for the trans community.
Well, I think it sounds kind of crazy personally, because
it's completely crazy. It's not kind of crazy.
How are you saying, okay, I want
to be
treatments
a girl.
that make it go one way, but I also want treatments that make it go the opposite way?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. See, I made peace with that because I didn't want kids in the first place. So it doesn't matter to me that without some sort of fertility treatment, I wouldn't be able to have kids. I don't care. Win-win, right? But if you want to impregnate a woman, then I have to reject your definition of what you think you are when you say you're a woman, because women can't generally do that.
Yeah, this has all happened. The thing with the eggs and the sperm for the teenagers, all of it's happened within the last 3 days. All suits that have been brought from this watchdog group in England. So
someone's trying to win some virtue signaling brownie points.
They're a private watchdog group, but they're fully funded by the government.
Private.
What? How does that work? You get all your money from the government.
So which government is paying the money to accuse the NHS of being transphobic?
The United Kingdom. The British government pays them to
wag the finger at itself?
Yeah, well, there's some rumblings that the government wants to kill the NHS. So this is how they'll do it.
All they have to do is let it keep going. It will kill itself when you run out of doctors.
Oh yeah, they've got people there complaining like nurses are making as much as like parking attendants. It's like, well, yeah, that's what happens with socialized medicine, stupid.
Every libertarian I know told you guys this was going to happen, and you said, nah, we got this.
Yeah, right?
And then your doctors are overworked and killing themselves and quitting to become, country singers out in the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, right.
So,
all right. Well, when we get back here on the Call to Freedom, we're going to, the Toronto Star of all people, they're admitting that private retail is better in cannabis. Who would have thought?
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
All right, thank you. Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, your only libertarian source for cannabis news. We did a little digging, and it turns out nobody else does this. Why? It's like the left has a monopoly on Leafly, High Times, MPP, all of them. They're very left-leaning.
Libertarians get high and then forget to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, so we got a story here from the Toronto Star. Pot smokers are most happy with a private retail model. Really?
No, the people's choice marijuana for me.
Right. I don't know anybody that uses a state-run dispensary that's happy with the service. Or that's happy with all the regulation either.
I don't know anybody who uses a state-run anything that is happy with the service.
Right.
Maybe the post office is passable.
I love the name of this. This is funny. Premier Doug Ford and the Ontario Progressive Conservative government.
What is that?
A progressive conservative.
I don't think they know what those words mean.
Have signaled that cannabis will be sold in privately owned stores rather than through the newly created and government-owned Ontario Cannabis Store, with Ontario following the lead of the 4 western provinces, Newfoundland and Labrador, in selling cannabis through a private or mixed retail system. This policy shift in Canada's largest province is a game-changing development for the budding cannabis industry. Overnight, private cannabis retailers in Canada doubled their potential customer base, as this decision gives private retailers access to an estimated 2 to 2.5 million adults in Ontario, and they'll likely purchase recreational cannabis once it becomes illegal this October the 17th. Our research shows that the Ontario PC government's decision likely will be popular among cannabis users, even if it goes against the preferences of the broader public. Among adult residents of the GTA, more than half would prefer a wholly government-owned model, with 3 and 10 open to a mixed system, and 15% preferring a fully privatized system.
So they want to force the government onto everyone else for a service that they don't even use.
Exactly. This overall preference for government-owned cannabis retailers is driven by people who will never walk through the door of these stores. Current and potential cannabis users are much, much more open to allowing private retailers to sell the product to consumers. 4 in 10 in favor of mixed public-private model. 2 in 10 prefer a fully privatized model. The other critical question facing Ontario at this stage are how many retailers will be allowed to operate, and to what extent local communities will be able to place restrictions on where they are located. Initially, the OCS planned to open just 40 stores across the province, increasing to 150 in total by the end of 2020. The province determined where these stores would be located, with local municipalities having an opportunity to provide input on the locations. Depending on what happens with the regulation and licensing process, private retailers will likely be able to open a larger number of stores more quickly. You know, the opposite of what they did in Ohio.
Right.
This could lead to disagreements, however, if residents seek to to keep retailers out of their neighborhoods. Again, a significant divide. Nearly 9 in 10 GTA residents who use cannabis support having a retailer in their community, while only 4 in 10 non-users support having a cannabis shop in their backyards. The provincial government's sudden move...
Well, it's not their backyards. It's property they don't own and that they're attempting to control. So...
Well, you can't tell helicopter and soccer moms that. They don't understand reason and logic. They're like, oh, but the children, there's a shop that's
but even within the framework
out when they open the liquor store in the neighborhood,
or the pharmacy,
a grocery store, gas station, they all sell alcohol.
Well, I mean, the pharmacy will give you stuff that can kill you very quickly, and they love giving it out, and the soccer moms are eating it, so.
Well, that's the difference. Is the soccer moms aren't smoking pot. The soccer moms are taking Xanax and Valiums and painkillers. So, they don't mind having the pharmacy that they go to a little bit closer. It's those dirty hippies. I don't want their pharmacy close to my house.
Yeah, they're okay with their drug dealers, just not
trust
yours.
Me, Canada's going to have its own summer of snitches next year with people smoking cannabis outside. Or smoking a vaporizer outside, and
your smoke wafted onto my property.
People calling the police because they can smell legal marijuana. I can smell it. I don't want to smell it. Then, I don't know. Get neighbors that don't smoke it.
Yeah. Go inside.
Go inside. I don't know what to tell you.
Grow some roses.
For real,
there are solutions here that don't require shooting people.
Yeah. The provincial government's sudden move creates many opportunities for private companies. It's likely to please those who will be lining up on October 17th to purchase their first legal cannabis. There are risks, however, given the preference of non-users for government control. It will be important for local and provincial governments to monitor acceptance to avoid conflicts with the NIMBYs who seek to block cannabis retailers from setting up shop in their neighborhoods.
What is a NIMBY?
Not in my backyard.
Okay.
No, you're thinking of NAMBLA, I think.
No, I wasn't thinking of anything. I was like, what is a NIMBY?
NIMBY. Not in my backyard.
Mm.
It's the acronym for people like...
Who don't know where their backyard ends?
Yeah. Yeah. People who don't know where their backyard... Usually, here's my favorite. They like to complain about the lack of jobs and opportunity in a region or an area or a town, but then stand in the way of a business opening because they don't like that business or those jobs. It's like, okay, well, today there is 0, and tomorrow there will be 170. Yeah, but I don't like those jobs. Okay, but
well, you don't have to like it.
Today there are
So
0 jobs, and tomorrow there will be 150 jobs. I want more jobs, but I don't want those jobs. Well, I mean,
considering our show, we
business.
have to discuss that sometime. Is that inability of people to realize that, they're not other people and that, their backyard isn't the totality of the area?
Oh, no, we are the government, so everything is my business. Remember the video we were watching yesterday? It's like, oh, no. Democracy is of the people, by the people, for the people.
And he's like, it's mob rule.
It's mob rule. That's why I love him. It's like, it's the rule of the mob.
Yeah,
it's demos. What does demos mean? Mob. It means the mob.
These unhappy people who don't know where their backyards end are going to get their pitchforks together and chase out the drug dealers they don't like because they're competing with the drug dealers that their wives use when getting their Xanax and Lortabs.
So what you're saying is that the secret, the trick to this whole thing is that we have to convince the guys with the pitchforks that the guys with the torches are going to try to take away their pitchforks and convince the guys with the torches that the guys with the pitchforks want to take away their torches. And then everything will just work itself out.
Well, it will for the people in power. Not so much for the people just trying to smoke a bowl.
Oh, God.
hey, there's this plant here, I want to smoke it, it's not going to work out well for them.
Well, you saw what happened in New York. They were like, so you're not allowed to smoke, you're not allowed to arrest people for smoking pot anymore. And arrests went down 30%.
Yeah, and cops started just ignoring people doing other things.
They literally had to say, you're not allowed to book these people anymore for them to finally stop arresting. A 30%, the mayor says you're not allowed to arrest people for smoking pot anymore. And there's a 30% drop in arresting people for smoking pot. I mean, it doesn't even matter what the law is, I don't think, at this point. The cops are just going to do whatever the hell they want to do. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with more of this, and Free Talk Live's coming up next, so don't go anywhere.
U.S. presidents often take credit for solving complex issues with many moving parts, whether they deserve that credit or not. But how much impact can a sitting president really have on the tides? We all know that presidents like to take credit for the undulations of the briny deep, when it suits them, that is, and we Americans are quick to blame whoever is in power for the multitudinous seas. During Eisenhower's administration in the 1950s, citizens took to the streets to protest his inability to harness the unruly waves, but Ike shifted blame for the tides that year onto a heron that had recently been born with a raven's head. But the truth is, when a president is in office, there's only so much he can do. Sure, the president can bring an amulet with the Eye of Horus to the top of the tallest peak, or spread lamb's blood on the base of an elm tree during a lunar eclipse. In reality, it's hard for anyone to know with true certainty how the tides will play out under any administration. For The Onion, I'm Eliza Hayes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,101. Antiwar.com reports, speaking on Fox News Sunday, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton denied that the U.S. government had at all been involved in the reported Saturday assassination attempt in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. There were conflicting reports on what happened, but the government reported 7 National Guard soldiers were injured by a pair of drone-like devices that carried explosives. They believe this was a failed attempt to assassinate Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was unharmed. Firefighters at the scene said there was no attack at all, and the explosion was from a gas tank inside an apartment near the parade. Maduro had blamed the Colombian government for the attack, and arrests were made. Bolton said it was a pretext set up for the regime itself or something else, covering all possible bases. He added that if Venezuela had any hard information of U.S. involvement, the administration would take a serious look at it. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports after half a decade of declining attendance since the release of a controversial documentary, Blackfish, SeaWorld's troubles might be over. The company announced on Monday a near 5% jump in attendance in the second quarter. In addition to the 4.8% jump in attendance to 6.4 million people, SeaWorld said Monday total revenue increased by $18.2 million, or 4.9% in the second quarter. Net income for the quarter ending June 30th was $22.7 million, up from a net loss of $175.9 million during the same quarter in 2017.